Welcome back to Drola's Garage. Today we are back with the GT3RS. I ordered 2 of the modules. I didn't order all 4. I ordered the airbag one and the underseat, the rear control module, because I know for sure those 2 are bad. So the other 2 are questionable, and I'm hoping that when I put the other 2, that maybe all the other ones will kind of start talking to each other, and all of that might solve itself out. So the PASM, the switch, I believe may have gotten wet, and I was reading that if that switch is bad, it will just completely throw off the PASM. So I'm hopeful that just like the seat, that I took it apart, took the switch apart, cleaned the contacts, put it back together, and now it works perfect. I'm hoping that maybe if I do that with the PASM, it will also resolve itself, but maybe not. That even use those parts, that module is a little expensive, and it's also hard to find because it's only 07, 08 GT3, very model specific unit. So there are a couple out there, but before I spend the money, I wanted to try that. Worst case, I can always take it out of my red car and put it in and see what happens. No harm in trying. So I might do that. My only issue is I have to get that car down from the lift, and as usual, I have a bunch of cars in the way because, you know, way too many cars. So I'm playing musical cars as always, but when you have limited space, you kind of have to work with the amount of space you have. You just got to make it work. So that's why I have all the lifts and everything to keep cars out of the way, and I can put more cars. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to fit that many cars in here. So back to the RS. Got to get it off the lift. Let's see what happens. I also got the switch for the seat. Yep, switch for the seat. These are available on eBay for like $17 or something. I don't know even know how much an OEM one costs, but I've used these before. The cheap Chinese ones, they work fine. They look OEM. So for 17 bucks, I think that was a pretty inexpensive and worthwhile investment. Piggy, hey. You gonna help me move cars? Or are you gonna chew on that alligator all day? Huh? She's of no help. I'm telling you. So now I have access to the car. Yeah, every time I look at this thing. Good Lord, she's beautiful. For the meantime, I'm gonna just hook this up like that. I plugged it in, it should work all the same. The module down here is already in its little holder, whatever you wanna call that thing, its little cradle. So I will go ahead and get that sorted out. I need to put the PASM unit back over there, and the front module in the front. Oh, and the airbag underneath there. So I'm gonna do that next, and I'll hook up the battery back up. Let's see what happens. Installation of this guy is pretty straightforward. It goes right there. It's held on with these 3 nuts. I gotta remember to make sure that those grounds get put on. I will clean these with a wire brush real quick, make sure there's no corrosion on them, and hopefully that will resolve my airbag issue. Okay, so I got that little guy put in there. I'll have to properly secure that cradle, whatever you're gonna call that thing. The airbag module is over there, and for the time being, I just put the PASM module there just so that it's connected. Also, the front control module, I just plugged it in. I want to just see what happens. So I'm going to hook the battery up now. Let's see what happens when I give this thing some juice. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if the rear opens. It does. And the front also actuates. I have the bonnet open right now so you can't tell, but the rear opens. That is some success right there. All right, let's see what we have here. Let's crank this baby up. Traction control failure. Okay, those have been going out by themselves though. I still don't have, like I was saying before, see, that one works, that one was working, I guess now it's not. Sport works, traction control is not, ASM is not. I'm gonna take that apart and see what happens. But let's see. I'll clear the airbag light. I will see what kind of coating I have to do to this thing, but at least I'm getting a rear bonnet opening. So that is definitely a step in the right direction. All right, so before I dig any deeper, let me turn the key on and turn the lights on. Rear control module in, and now we have tail lights and reverse lights. We are definitely moving in the right direction here. Tag lights too, so everything seems to be working. The brake lights I think were working before, but I had no reverse lights and no tail lights. So now that that new rear control module is in, it seems to be working. So let's hook up the durometric to this thing again. I got a check engine light. I don't know, it kind of started and then it almost died out. I don't know if it has something to do. Electrical fault. That's a new one. I hadn't seen that one before. Not sure if it has anything to do with that rear control module, but I will look into it. I'll keep going down the list here. Let's see what happens. Stability management. There we go with the steering angle thing again. All right. Why is this thing beeping at me? Let's see. What's it telling me? Traction control failure. Well, let's keep going. Under suspension, which would be the PASM, it's still not reading the module, so I have to look into that. Let me look at that rear module that I changed. Come on, information. Okay, well at least now it's reading something. Before it wasn't reading anything at all. Let's see fault codes. Oof, look at all those fault codes. All right, let's clear those. Apparently, this might have been for like an automatic. I think it came off of a 07 or 08 turbo. So let me go into coding here and clear this out. So the coding for that rear module is pretty extensive. The first one, automatic transmission, said installed. So there was one off the bat right there. I'm not sure what all of this stuff is. I will have to look it all up and try to code it how it's supposed to be. So since the last rear control module had absolutely zero communication, I can't just copy the other one, which is unfortunate because I wish I could. Although I could copy the one off of my other 997 GT3. That's what I'll do. There you go. Problem solved. See? There's only solutions in life, as long as there is no workshop. Okay, so here I am on my red car. So I'm going to go to rear. Let's look up coding. Coding, okay. So I'm gonna take all of these codes here and put them into the other car. Let's see what happens. Also, I'm going to check the front. Although I think the front is a little simpler. Yeah, there's not as many. So I'll put this stuff in the other car exactly as it is in this car. And let's see what happens. My poor baby just turned 60,000 miles. Woo! On a trip up to the mountains this weekend. She's growing up, the old girl. All right, let's see what happens. I'm comparing here the front module to the red car, and it is identical. So I'm gonna leave that alone. That front module may not even be bad. So I'm gonna leave it alone and roll with it. One thing I forgot to check earlier was the airbag. So let's see. All right, I'm just gonna clear them. And let's see what happens. There is coating here. So I'm going to see if I can coat it. I forgot to check the other car. I'll coat it the same as the other car, but we'll see. I'll just leave it like that for now. I took this little switch panel off, and before I took it apart, and I plugged it into my red car, and this is good. So this is not the problem. Something else is the problem. Maybe that PASM box, or maybe there's a traction control module that I have to figure out. I have to find it and see where it is. But this is not the problem. I was hoping it was. That would have been the easiest solution, but it's not. So onward. Keep figuring stuff out. What I might do is take the PASM box off the other car and put it in this car and see if that helps. You know, that's a good free way of testing it before I spend the money on a new unit. So I'll try that. Okay, so I got the car off the lift. I figured it was time. It's also hard to work on the lift with the two posts, and it's always in the way. I got the seat back in it since everything underneath was buttoned up. There's no need for that seat to be out. Console still taken apart. Still a mess. But it's slowly coming together. Deck lid opens, front opens. I did get that rear control module coated the same as on the red car, and everything works. Everything works perfect. Actually, that control module was set up for a turbo Tiptronic. So it was looking for an automatic transmission, and the spoiler, it was a big mess, but I got all that cleared out, and it's working fine now. So everything works. Now, the only thing, oh, also I got the airbag module in, so I don't have an airbag light anymore. Voila, look at that. I do get, though, the PASM failure indicator. It'll come on now. The PASM button is not working, and I'm still getting the no communication with the PASM unit. I swapped out that PASM unit with the other car, and I even put the one from the other car in here, and it still did the same thing. So that's not the problem. There's got to be a connector. You know, I tried to undo that connector a few times, put it back. I sprayed some deoxit on it, some of this stuff, which is pretty good, and still to no avail. So I'm not getting the PASM failure now, but it will come on. But that's the only warning I'm getting. So if I put the seatbelt on, there we go. PASM failure. That's it. That's all I got left. Everything else is good to go. Radio works, AC works. So I just got to figure out that PASM thing. I guess it wouldn't stop me from driving the car, but I'd rather not. Although I probably will, knowing me. But everything else seems to work. So I'll do some more research tonight and see what I can find as far as that PASM indicator. Now let me see again if I don't have the seatbelt on, because it seemed like the PASM came on as soon as I clicked the seatbelt on. That was weird. let's see. So if I don't put the seatbelt on, I don't get the light. I'm still not getting anything down here though. Sport works. Traction control works. See, I got traction control. I got sport, but no PASM. And then as soon as I hook up the seatbelt, boom, PASM. Huh. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Anyway, I guess I'll have to do some more research. Okay, so back to the PASM issue. I realized the PASM is there. It's just kind of hiding while I have the seatbelt off. So when I start the car, right, I get the fasten seatbelt warning there. But so the PASM is not showing. But as soon as I click on the belt, that goes away and the PASM shows up. Take off the belt, put on the belt. So the seatbelt has no correlation with the PASM as far as I can tell. So back to square one. Got to figure this thing out. But you know what? I'm not getting the visit workshop, system fault visit workshop. I no longer have that. So hooray, no workshop for me. I did not want to go to the workshop, and I still will not go to the workshop if I don't have to. At any cost, I will avoid going to the workshop because the workshop is not my friend. All right, so I'll keep looking and see what the situation is. All my lights work, my tail lights work, turn signals work, reverse lights work, everything works. Except for that PASM thingy, whatever, I gotta fix that. And this car is good to go. I'm happy.